welcome to Daily Briefing. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sarah. July 17th, 2026.
We're tracking a massive escalation in the Middle East and a series of major moves in the tech sector this morning. It's a clear, beautiful day in Parker, Colorado, with temperatures starting at 63 and heading up to a high of 90. So keep that water handy.
That is a serious jump in temperature, so stay cool out there. Let's get into it.
All right, turning to U.S. news, the Trump administration is tightening visa rules for foreign students. It's a significant shift that's already sending shockwaves through the higher education sector.
This feels like it's going to have a massive impact on enrollment numbers, Alex. Universities rely heavily on international tuition, and if the process becomes too cumbersome or restrictive, we might see a real brain drain.
Exactly, and the administration is framing this as a security and oversight measure, but the universities are saying it's going to stifle research and cultural exchange. It's a tough balance to strike, especially when you consider how much these students contribute to the economy.
It also puts a lot of pressure on the admissions offices who are already struggling with changing federal guidelines. Do you think this is going to lead to a legal challenge from the major academic institutions?
I'd be surprised if it didn't, Sarah. We're already seeing statements coming out of the Ivy League and major state systems expressing concern.
We'll keep an eye on that, but we also have to talk about the situation in Maine where lawmakers are demanding answers after an ICE officer shooting.
This is a bombshell report, Sarah. The details are still emerging, but the fact that federal lawmakers are already calling for an immediate investigation shows just how high the tension is regarding immigration enforcement tactics.
It's the oversight piece that really stands out to me. People want to know exactly what the protocols were and why this specific interaction escalated to the point of gunfire.
Right, and when you have federal agencies operating in local jurisdictions, the lines of accountability can get pretty blurry, which is exactly why there's so much scrutiny here.
It's a volatile situation that's only going to get more intense as the investigation moves forward.
Coming up, we're heading to the Middle East where the situation is deteriorating rapidly.
Let's talk global news, and frankly, the situation in the Middle East is looking grim. Iran is now threatening to crush regional infrastructure if U.S. strikes continue to escalate.
It's not just a vague threat, Sarah. We're seeing analysts describe the Strait of Hormuz as being back in a worst-case scenario, which is a massive red flag for global energy markets.
When you talk about the Strait of Hormuz, you're talking about one of the most critical choke points for global oil transit. If that gets blocked or becomes a war zone, the price of oil is going to skyrocket almost instantly.
We've already seen the U.S. launch a new wave of strikes against Iranian targets. And now Tehran is claiming they've hit U.S. fighter jets and tankers in Jordan with missiles and drones.
If those reports are confirmed, we're looking at a direct, kinetic conflict that goes way beyond proxy warfare. That is a massive development that changes the entire security architecture of the region.
It's incredibly dangerous, and a market reaction is going to be swift once the traders wake up to the full scale of these reports.
It feels like we're on the edge of something much larger, and the diplomatic off-ramps are disappearing by the hour.
Moving over to India and Tamil Nadu, there's some exciting news out of the space sector. Skyroot Aerospace is gearing up for the historic launch of their Vikram 1 rocket.
It's a huge milestone for India's private space industry, showing they can really compete on a global scale for satellite deployment.
Also in politics, the government might reintroduce the delimitation bill during the upcoming monsoon session of Parliament, though they're still struggling to secure the necessary votes.
That's been a long-standing political hurdle, and it'll be interesting to see if they can whip the numbers this time around.
Meanwhile, in Mumbai, the mayor has officially rejected the civic body's report on that tragic tree collapse in Kember.
It's a mess, and it really highlights the ongoing friction between the city's leadership and the municipal authorities over public safety and accountability.
Let's talk markets. And the big story is TSMC pledging another $100 billion to expand their U.S. production capacity in Arizona.
That is a staggering amount of capital, Alex. It really signals that the push for domestic semiconductor manufacturing is not just a temporary trend, but a long-term strategic commitment to secure the supply chain.
It's going to create thousands of high-tech jobs, but the scale of this investment is just massive by any standard.
Speaking of massive, Citadel Securities is putting $400 million into Crypto.com, which now values that exchange at $20 billion.
That's a huge vote of confidence in the crypto space, especially given the volatility we've seen lately. They're clearly betting big on tokenized securities and derivatives.
And then there's the talk of Stripe potentially making a $53 billion bid for PayPal.
That would be a defining moment for digital payments. Sarah, they want to own the entire infrastructure, from consumer wallets to stablecoin issuance.
It's a high-stakes play to dominate the future of money, but it's going to face some serious regulatory scrutiny if it moves forward.
In other news, 2 hackers tied to the Scattered Spider Group were just sentenced in the UK for their role in a $115 million crypto ransom scheme.
That's a big win for law enforcement, especially with how difficult it is to track these cyber extortion cases.
It's a reminder that the digital world is getting safer, but the threats are still very real, especially when you look at the markets today.
Bitcoin is down about 1.5% as investors react to a broader stock sell-off, and micron losses have actually passed 30%.
It's a rough day for the tech sector, and you can really see the correlation between traditional equities and the crypto markets tightening up.
On the tech side, the European Union has ordered Google to give rival AI apps the same Android access as their Gemini app.
This is a classic antitrust move, Sarah. The EU wants to make sure Google isn't using its control over the operating system to squash competition in the AI space.
It's going to force them to open up the guts of Android, which is a big deal for companies like OpenAI or Anthropic.
In science, astronomers have found a substantial atmosphere on a nearby Earth-like planet, which is just incredible.
And they've also detected a sugar molecule in deep space for the first time, which really changes how we think about the building blocks of life.
The James Webb Telescope also just found a hidden planet in a famous star system that we thought we already knew inside and out.
It's amazing what that telescope can see, and scientists have also created stable boron graphene and found a quantum liquid crystal state.
That's the kind of discovery that could eventually lead to a total revolution in quantum computing.
On the health front, a brain implant has successfully enabled a paralyzed man to feed himself and drink from a cup, which is a life-changing development in neuroprosthetics.
And a new vaccine for pancreatic cancer has shown it's safe and can trigger a durable immune response in high-risk individuals.
That's a massive breakthrough for one of the most difficult cancers to treat.
Turning to sports, Tim Merlier won a crash-marred stage 12 of the Tour de France, while Tadej Pogacar managed to hold onto his overall lead.
It was a chaotic stage, but the cream really rose to the top.
In entertainment, the new Christopher Nolan film, The Odyssey, pulled in $15 million in Thursday night previews alone.
That's a huge start for a summer release, and it's going to dominate the box office this weekend.
We also have to acknowledge the passing of Sam Neill, who died from pneumonia, a real legend of the screen.
He will definitely be missed, and finally, Giannis Antetokounmpo is making headlines for saying he's hungry to chase a championship with the Miami Heat.
That would completely shift the power dynamic in the NBA if it happens.
It's been a busy morning, and we've covered a lot of ground today.
The world is moving fast, and we'll be here to break it all down for you again tomorrow morning.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, everyone.